How many wind power facilities does Apex operate presently?
I believe this is discussed in my testimony. Do you have somewhere particular in mind?
Just tell me how many.
In the interest of time, I believe this is discussed in my application or in my testimony. However, multiple projects are operating that Apex has developed.
Is there a particular portion of his testimony, Mr. McClay, that you could have him direct his attention to?
You may want to look at question 3.
Yeah, I see that question 3 says that Apex has completed 13 facilities, but it doesn't say how many are being operated by Apex.
I see the section of my testimony that you're referencing here. So our reference to completing 13 wind facilities would be those we developed. I would imagine many of those we are current operators for. However, I don't have that specific figure for you.
Okay. Are you personally involved in operating any wind power facilities?
No.
Have you ever been?
No.
How many wind power facilities have you developed?
I've been active in development for 3 facilities in Ohio, all of which are currently still under development.
Okay. Have you been involved in developing wind power facilities in states other than Ohio?
No.
Do you have any information concerning whether Apex has ever experienced any blade shear at any of the facilities it's operated?
I'm generally aware that blade shear has occurred, rarely with projects. I'm not aware offhand of a specific case.
Okay. Are you aware of whether blade shear has occurred at any Apex projects?
To answer your question once more, I'm not aware of a specific incident. It's important to note that I'm a project manager for the Republic project and have been involved in these development projects in Ohio that are referenced in my testimony. However, I'm not involved in operations of wind farms.
All right. Are you aware of any incidents at any wind power facilities at which blade shear has occurred?
Again, I'm generally aware that blade shear has occurred. However, I can't point to a specific instance.
Yeah. Do you have any information concerning whether any blades or parts of blades were projected away from the turbine tower during any of those incidents?
I do not have that information offhand. No.
Are you aware of any incidents at any wind projects in which ice has been thrown from the wind turbines?
Generally aware of ice throw as a subject concern, and I'm aware that we produced an ice throw report for the application. However, I'm not aware of a specific instance offhand of ice throw.
Let's talk about noise from wind turbines.
Actually, before you move on from that subject, I have a quick question. Just generally, do you know what are the statistics of blade throw in the industry in general? Because on your testimony, page 14, lines 21 to 23, you note that technological improvements have really significantly reduced the instances of blade throw. So are you aware of current statistics of blade throw in general?
This response is in reference specifically to the ice throw report that was included as a response to a data request, I believe, from OPSB staff. I don't have that figure offhand, but this statement is reliant on those figures.
Okay, but do you know about industry statistics at all regarding blade shear or blade throw? What those instances are?
I believe the report you produced demonstrated that the case of ice throw is very rare, and further discussed some of the finer details of that. However, I'm not familiar with the statistic offhand.
Okay, thank you.
Are you aware of the Timber Road 2 wind project in Ohio?
Generally aware of its existence.
That's an operating project, right?
To my knowledge, there is an operating project in Ohio with the name Timber Road.
And it's located not far from the Republic Wind project area?
I'm not sure of the distance specifically, but to my knowledge, the Timber Road project is on the border of Ohio and Indiana, roughly a few hours drive from the project area for Republic Wind.
Are you aware of whether or not that project has ever had a blade throw or blade shear incident?
I'm not aware offhand of a specific incident.
You said something about a study or some information that was submitted to the Power Siting Board about blade shear. Am I understanding that correct?
The project completed an ice throw report as requested by Power Siting Board staff.
Okay, not a blade shear report.
Not to my knowledge.
So what's the basis of your statement that while rare, such incidents have occurred? That's included in your blade shear discussion on page 14 of your testimony.
This is general knowledge that blade shear does not occur frequently with projects. This isn't a precise statement, of course. However, it's simply a statement that those incidents are rare, which is true.
Did you look at any reports or studies of blade throw incidents that provided you with the background for this statement?
Over my tenure of development at Apex, and in consultation with subject matter experts, both at Apex and with consultants that we've employed to perform different studies, this is the general understanding. And so along those lines, I've very likely seen specific reports. However, I did not memorize those reports and don't have a figure to report for you.
Yeah, do you have a name of any of those reports? title?
No, I do not.
How about the name of the author? Do you have any of the authors for any of those reports?
No, I'm not familiar with a specific report that I can cite for you right now.
Are you aware of a database that can be found on the internet called the CAITHNESS database, CAITHNESS?
I'm not presently aware of that, no.
In your discussion of blade shear on page 14 of your testimony, there's a sentence starting on line 19 that refers to a control system failure leading to overspeed operation, a lightning strike, or a manufacturing defect in the blade. You see that testimony?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then the next sentence states that technological improvements and mandatory safety standards during turbine design, manufacture, and installation has significantly reduced the instance of blade throw. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. When, to your knowledge, did those technological improvements and mandatory safety standards come into existence?
These improvements would be incremental with technology advancements. We're aware that the systems in place regarding the technology specifically available on each turbine is different with each new iteration from these manufacturers. And so, for example, you would not see a highly intelligent computer system on a turbine built 15 years ago, but you do see those standard today. And these computers tell us a number of things about how the turbine is operating in order to notify us of any problems that may arise.
Does Republic Wind intend to incorporate a braking system in its turbines to stop them from rotating if blade shear occurs?
Yes.
When did those braking systems come into existence?
Again, my expertise is as a project manager for the development of this project, not operations, nor specific technology for the braking of these turbine blades. However, the technology exists today and exists for those turbines that we've proposed for this project.
Can you identify any technological improvement or safety standard that will be used by Republic Wind for these turbines that did not exist 10 years ago?
If you can refer to answer 26 on page 13 of my testimony, this is previous to where you're looking now.
No, I'm still on page 14 of your testimony.
I would ask that you turn to page 13
Okay,
for an answer to your question.
sure. All right, and what would you like to refer me to?
Begins line 10, for example, as you're requesting some information regarding a safety system. I'll go ahead and read it. In the event a fire would occur, the system control and data acquisition, acronym SCADA, system would be installed, will sense when equipment operation is compromised and report conditions to the control center at the O&M building. This is a system that hasn't always existed for turbines. I'm not sure precisely when this was developed. However, it's something that we intend to install with the turbines we've proposed.
Do you know whether that system was available 10 years ago?
No, but it is available now.
Now, does that system shut off a turbine only if there's a fire or under other circumstances as well?
I'm not certain exactly what measures the system performs on its own. However, we have 24-hour surveillance by experts for this system, among others, in which someone could determine that a stop is required.
So, am I correctly understanding what you're saying then, that the SCADA system would not shut off the turbine if blade shear occurred in the absence of a fire?
No. To correct that, I would say that I'm not sure exactly the measure that is taken by the system alone, but I can speak to the 24-hour operations oversight of the system. I'm not certain whether the system can operate on its own.
Well, does Republic Wind intend to include any technology for these turbines that would shut off the turbine if during a storm blade shear occurred?
I would defer to the application in any language we've included. I'm aware that we plan to employ those systems available to meet those conditions that we've received from the Power Setting Board and to ensure the safe operations of these turbines.
Do you know what kind of technology will be used, if any, to shut off a turbine that is damaged in a storm?
I'm aware that staff at the O&M building could certainly do so. Any third-party review or third-party oversight off-site of the project could do so. I would imagine there's a system in place to at least notify those operators of an issue. Again, I'm not sure whether that system is automatic, would automatically shut the turbines down. So the answer is not no, it's an I don't know.
Okay. The staff that you just referred to in your answer, are those staff that are at the Republic Wind facility, or are they going to be off-site?
Both. For those projects that Republic Wind operates, we have on-site O&M staff that oversees the operations. We also have staff which oversees those very same operations from the Road Operations Center in Charlottesville, Virginia.
And just so the record is clear, when you say O&M staff, operation and maintenance.
Operations and maintenance is the acronym.
Will the staff that will be present in the facility, at the facility, have the ability to shut off a turbine?
Absolutely.
And the off-site staff also would have the ability to turn off a turbine?
That's correct.
And is there technology that will be used in the project that will tell staff for the facility if blade shear has occurred?
Yes, I would refer again to the system control and data acquisition system that would be installed in each turbine.
How quickly can a turbine be shut down in the event that a staff person sees the need to do so?
My general knowledge is that a turbine can be shut down very quickly. Again, I'm not in operations. I don't know how many seconds it would take. However, to my knowledge, this can be done very quickly.
In less than a minute?
I believe you'd be asking me to speculate here. I'm not sure. I would imagine in some cases, yes. I would imagine with some models, perhaps it would take slightly longer. I'm not sure.
With regard to ice throw, I believe in the application there's a statement that icing can lead to vibration. Are you aware that that's true?
I'm generally aware of the ice throw potential.
Mhm. Now, and you're aware that the application states that if icing causes vibration on the turbine, then the turbine would shut down?
I'm aware that the SCADA system employed at each turbine would make the operators certainly aware of that situation. And if the ice throw report does say that the system would identify that vibration, then I would believe that to be accurate.
Yeah. Does a turbine blade always vibrate if it has ice on it?
I'm not a subject matter in this area, or subject matter expert in this area. I would refer to that ice throw report, which is performed by an expert. The information included therein.
So you don't know the answer to that question?
Objection, Your Honor. He answered the question.
I just said he would refer to the report. He didn't say whether he knew or not.
He indicated he wasn't a subject matter expert.
Okay. Your objection's overruled. Will you specifically respond to the question? Yeah.
I'm not aware whether that is accurate.
Is the ice throw study that you just referred to included in the application?
The ice throw study available to you would be that which was a response to a staff data request. And so it was not a requirement of the application. However, it is an item that we included in response to staff.
Okay. Do you know whether that study is on the Power Siting Board's docket?
Yes,
It is?
yes.
Okay.
As part of the application or as part of a different file?
This would be a filing in response to a staff data request.
Yeah. Have you checked the public docket for the board to determine whether Republic Wind submitted any of its responses to staff data requests to the docket?
I'm going to object just for foundation to make sure that the witness knows what the public DCO or OSPB docket is.
Okay, why don't we go off the record real fast?